Guys, Hackersploit here, back again with another video, and in this video we're going to be looking at password cracking, more specifically password cracking with John the Ripper. Alright, so a lot of you guys have been asking me for this, and this is probably a very important section that I've realized that I haven't covered before. And obviously this section is password cracking, more specifically password cracking using John the Ripper. Alright, so John the Ripper is a fantastic password cracking utility that is used to crack, RAR passwords, system passwords, etc., etc. It's also very good for password hash cracking. Now, for those of you asking for the more advanced videos on the channel, do not worry at all. I was planning this for a long time, and I've really listened to what you guys have had to say. And yes, on the channel, until now, I haven't covered a lot of advanced videos, and that's because I wanted to fully cover the beginner videos so that anyone who watches the channel can go through the beginning tutorials and then get competent enough to move on to the advanced series. Now, for those of you already advanced enough in this field, you want to see advanced videos, don't worry about that. I've been working on the web penetration testing series and some more other advanced series, and I was scheduling to upload the videos at the beginning of March. But since you want them early, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start uploading them from this week, from Monday onwards. Okay, so I've actually recorded and edited them, and now I'll move on to actually uploading them. So again, thank you so much for waiting. I just wanted to make sure that I covered all the basics first, and obviously I can cover both sides of the spectrum where, beginners can find value on the channel and also the advanced users can find value on the channel. I really value both experience levels, if that's what you want to call it. So beginners should not feel intimidated at all, and the advanced users should not feel like the channel is becoming very basic in terms of the types of videos I'm uploading. So you don't have to worry about that. I'll be uploading the advanced videos, so I'm going to try and get a balance. Anyway, as I said, I've not really covered the password cracking section, and today we're going to be looking at how to crack the zip and RAR passwords with John the Ripper. Alright, so the surprising thing is not many people, or people actually find this really complex because, they don't understand the password hash cracking process and how the cracking process works. Alright, so essentially, John the Ripper is a fantastic tool that, in its full power is great for cracking password hashes. And once you crack a password hash, you essentially get the password. Now, in this case, I have an encrypted zip file here that is encrypted behind a password. I created that on my Windows operating system, and I just gave it a I don't even remember what password I gave it. I probably gave it a very simple password, and that's because again, depending on the complexity of the password you are cracking, the process can take a short time to a longer time. If the password is more complex, it's going to take longer. If it's less complex in terms of the character set that you're choosing to use, then obviously it's going to take a less amount of time. If the amount of characters is limited, or you have more characters and you have the use of numbers and symbols, then obviously the process is going to be longer. But enough said, let's get started with John the Ripper. Right, so John the Ripper is pre-installed on Kali Linux, which is awesome. And as you can see, I have the test file on my desktop. So I'm just going to browse to my desktop here. So change directory into my desktop, and I'm going to clear that out. And now we can get started with the process. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get the password hashes, and that can be done by using a tool called Zip2John. It is part of the John the Ripper package. So let me just show you what it's used for. It's used for getting the password hashes. Now, depending on whether or not you're using a zip file or a RAR file, the process is still the same, or it has a utility for both of these processes. So if you're using a zip file, or you want to get the password from a zip file, the first thing we need to do is we need to use Zip2John. All right, so Zip2John. Sorry about that. Zip2John. And then after that, we specify the file, and then if we hit enter, it's going to give us the password hash, or we can output the file into a TXT document, which is the preferred way of doing so. Once you go into becoming a penetration tester, it's very important that you save all of the results that you're getting and everything that was involved in the process. So again, this is why I was talking about, really covering the basics so that people learn, penetration testing the right way. Alright, so as I said, if you're using a zip file, you can use Zip2John. If you're using a RAR file, you can use RAR2John. Alright, so the process is relatively simple. In this case, we're using a zip file, so I'm going to use Zip2John. And now I'm going to specify the file name, which in this case is called test.zip. So I'm just going to test.zip. whoops, sorry about that, test.zip. And once I've specified the file, if I hit enter now, it's gonna, whoops, for some reason we've got an error there. Oh, there is a space in there. So let me just see if I can rename this and get rid of the space between there. There we are. Let me just rename it. Fantastic. Okay, so now we can go zip to John test.zip. Now once I hit enter, it'll give me the password hash. Don't worry if it gives you the error that the file is not encrypted. Regardless, the password hash starts with the $sign and ends with the $sign. That is a hash, so it ends here, or actually here. All right, so it starts with the $sign and ends with the $sign. That's how you know what a password hash is. So now we need to crack this, but first I want to export it into a TXT document. So to do that, we just use the output denoter, which is the greater than sign, and we give the name of the document. In this case, we are storing it in a text document. So I'm just going to call it hash.txt, and I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to save the hash for us in here. There we are. Fantastic. And now we can get started with the password hash cracking process. So I'm just going to clear the terminal now, and we can use John. So now we have to use John, and we now need to select the format of the file that we're trying to crack, and then specify the hash or the document that contains the hash. So we say John, and then we use the format denoter. So that is the format command, and that is denoted by a _ and format. All right. So after that, we then say format is equal to zip. Now again, if your file is a RAR file, the process is the same. You just need to change this into a RAR. All right. So in this case, mine is just zip. And then now you have to specify the hash. So if you have copied the hash, you can just paste it in here directly. In this case, we have saved it on a document. So I'm just going to specify the document name. So hash.txt, and I'm going to hit enter. And the password hash cracking process is there. As you can see, it was performing the cracking process, and it got it in a few seconds. And as you can see, the password is really simple: 123456. Now the reason I chose this is because again, I did not want something very complex. Otherwise, it would have taken a longer time. And that is the thing you need to understand about password cracking. Even when you use tools, when you're cracking, logins like the SSH login, and you're using tools like Hydra, the process is quite a while. I remember you cracking passwords when I was learning, or when I was, on my first job. The password cracking, took almost probably about 12 hours. So yeah, it's going to take a while, and that is probably the thing about password cracking. Whether you're performing a brute force attack, or you're trying to crack against passwords, logins, or even if you're using a dictionary attack, it's pretty much just about time. All right, so that is how to crack a zip file or a RAR file. The process is still the same, and there's your password. So now we know the password is 123456. Let us confirm that by actually trying to extract our file here. So I'm going to hit extract here. I'm going to hit extract to my desktop. There we are, extract, and I'm just going to enter the password. And I'm going to hit OK. And there we are, extraction completed successfully. Fantastic. We can close that up. And in my test file, I just had some really basic files. Yeah, there's a setup there just for synergy, which is awesome. All right, so one more extra thing. I'm going to give you guys an extra bonus. I'm going to show you how to crack Linux passwords with John. All right, so with the thing about Linux passwords is Linux passwords are stored in the etc and the shadow folder. All right, so I'm pretty much, most of you are familiar with that. Those of you who are advanced users should be familiar with the file structure, or the Linux file directories, and where the passwords are stored. But the thing about them is the file is encrypted, so you need to crack it. So by default, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a user. So user add, and I'm just going to say the username should be, let's just call it user2. All right, I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to add the user. Now I'm going to change the password of user2. So essentially what I'm doing right now is I'm just creating a user and a password, and I'm going to show you how to crack it. Obviously the Linux usernames and passwords, so you can actually crack the passwords that belong to all the accounts on the Linux operating system. So I'm going to give it a password. So it's going to ask me to enter a new Unix password. So again, I'm just going to enter a really simple password: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Let's make it a bit complex. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and I'm going to hit enter, and there we are, password updated successfully. So to crack the shadows file, the shadows file exists in the etc, and as you can see, if you specify the shadow file, like this, the etc shadows file, you will essentially, that is where all the passwords are stored. So we can use John, and we can say etc shadow. If I just open that up, there we are, shadow. There's the shadow file. Again, by the way, it is a file, so we just hit shadow, and once we hit enter, it's going to start cracking the password hash, and it's going to give us the results, as you can see here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So that was really quick. Now let me explain the results that we've got here, because it may feel a bit confusing. So as you can see, it detected that the hash type was a SHA-512 or 512. So that is an encryption protocol or an encryption algorithm. Sorry about that. Very powerful. And again, it was able to crack it really quickly. Now by default, it's telling me something here that it loaded 3 password hashes with 3 different salts. So what this means is, yes, I have performed this cracking before, and it found the password hashes and they were cracked. So what it's saying is I had 3 accounts that were cracked before, and they've already cracked the hashes. So it's not going to crack the password hashes for those accounts. It only cracks the ones that that have not been cracked yet. In this case, which was user 2, and it got the password there, which was awesome. So that is essentially how to crack Linux passwords. It's really very simple. As I said, people just, really they just make things a bit too complex for themselves. And the process, if you understand the process, then performing the techniques, to exploit a system or to, in this case, crack a passwords are really very simple. It's just about time, patience, and prudence. All right. So I'm just going to clear this up. And what we're going to do now is I'm just going to delete the user that I created. User delete, I'll do that later. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you found value in this video. Please leave a like down below. If you have any questions at all, just leave them in the comment section or on my social networks, or you can hit me up on Kick. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a fantastic day. Peace.